Welcome to Sicily Soul Sojourn. So today we are going to Ghana and we are going to talk about a recent incident that happened here in Ghana and how to sort of unpack it as it relates to how the situation arises and how one should try to handle themselves rather than sort of getting to say who's right and who's wrong, because we heard a lot of that. And so I thought to myself, let me get in touch with Sam, who is a native Ghanaian, and I'm what you consider diasporan, and I thought it'd be nice to interview him based on his experience on what it's like being and he speaks very candidly about his personal view on how to interact with situations, and also as a Ghanaian, how one typically does react according to how they're being faced. And it was basically, and I will put the link to the interview in the description box. Um, but it's basically how there was a situation where this person who's a diaspora, I guess, living in Ghana now, and she got sort of a little. She was upset because a car hit her, and she got very upset and went around to the driver and told him how you'll see. Watch the video yourself. So this is like a reaction video to that, and I thought Sam again. He's interacted with diasporans for some time now, repats or whatever you want, repatriation, whatever one. There's different ways of saying it. We're not going to get into that right now. But let's hear from Sam, who's going to really break it down and explain to us the best way to deal with any kinds of conflict, whether it relate to a man or a woman or man versus a man, or it just in general, how we should conduct ourselves and just see the big picture and not react. Because I even talk about how I was in a similar situation and how I responded. I didn't react. And how it was a very amicable resolution to the outcome, and there was nothing but respect for each other. So let's now go into hearing what Sam Asari of ASLP Ghana, Akwaba's Spiritual Liberation Pilgrimage. So thank you for joining us, and please, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, we always welcome them. Thank you for joining us.
On ASLP Ghana, and I have the wonderful opportunity to be speaking to you here with Sam Asari. And we had posted on our page about something that was surfacing on Facebook about this situation that had happened in Ghana with someone from the diaspora. And I'm just going to give a little narrative as how I remembered, as that she was apparently in the street and crossing the street, and someone touched her with a car and her bag and stuff. And she got upset and she hit her hand on the car, because there's a couple of versions of how it was said, actually. So this is the version I remember. She hit her hand on the car, and she then went around to the driver and told him something about, oh, you know, you're like working from the devil or something like that, and you're supposed to be a Christian. So she sort of took it to another level. So I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to invite Sam from ASLP Ghana, and for him to share from a perspective of being a Ghanaian, and not a native Ghanaian, and also interacting with people from all over the world, so internationally, you know, and also diasporans who are coming from the West and coming into Ghana. And so I thought he would be able to give a perspective on how to make things a lot more easier as you transition into Ghana. So welcome, Sam. Nice to have you live again here with me on our ASLP Ghana page. I'll just make sure that we are live. Hold on a second.
Thank you.
I'm not seeing it live at the moment, so let's just make sure that we are on live.
Yeah, I think it's live. It came.
Oh, yes, I see it. Yeah. Lovely. Okay, so let me just make sure it's turned down so it doesn't. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you for having me back on ASLP Ghana page.
Mm.
And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our friends and new members to the page. We welcome you all. And I'm glad that we are here today to elaborate on the situation, the unfortunate situation that happened that Sister Cicely just told us about.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
grateful to be here to share my opinion and whatever we can all do or act when we are confronted with such situations.
Right, right. So it's funny, someone thought that I was actually involved in it. So I said, no, I wouldn't ever get to that point for it to escalate to that point where, because she was physically attacked by this person who was driving the car, and she was sharing about her experience, and she was a little bit traumatic about it. So me coming from the diaspora and also going to Ghana and staying in Ghana for a long, very long period of time, I know what it's like to be. So I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking as someone who's just wants to talk. And I think that, again, I told the person that it would never escalate it to that point because I know how far to go. I actually had an experience myself when I was in Ghana, and the Trocho driver, the van drivers, and those of you in the United States, we call those the dollar vans. Well, sometimes they get very aggressive. They want to make money, and so they want to get people into the van, and sometimes they just want to grab you and you're not even going where they're going, and they just want to grab you in. So I've got to say, when I initially went there, it was not a good experience for me. But once I got integrated into the community, then I realized that I need to stand up for myself, but not stand up for myself in a way, but still keep the essence of being a woman, not being subservient or anything like that, but just holding on to that essence of being in a female body and female energy as I relate to a male in a male body. So the male energy in a male body. And so basically I just told him, because he had a cross in the window, and I'm saying, look, you've got a cross in the window and you're driving a little reckless. I don't want anyone to get hurt. And he said, okay, mommy. And we both started to laugh because of the way I said it. I'm not saying not to speak up for yourself, but there's a way how you can say it, and the way how your energy, first of all, it's your energy, your thought goes before anything else. And so it was fine. We laughed it off and it was fine. And also when the Trotro drivers tried to drag me in, I said, listen, don't touch me. And so, but not in a combative way and not in an aggressive way, but one that was more suitable for everybody involved, that it didn't escalate. So Sam, I want you to just say a little bit about Ghana and how it is as it relates to a female, how they interact with a male. Let's start there first, yeah?
Okay. Personally, I don't like to generalize this Ghana, how, but I like to talk personally. But there are some facts that you see that is more prevalent in the way how we interact with each other, being male or female. But personally, I stood for equality, and I am genderless in my way of seeing things or viewing things or going about how situations. So what happened, I wasn't there. And in Ghana, generally, we have road crossings. There's some specific, when you are in Ghana and you wanted to cross the road, you have to make sure that you're crossing at a proper road crossing area. So that's just to clarify from the beginning. But like you said, sister, I agree with you that we all have the right to speak. And this has not been like has not been a knowledge of many Ghanaians in the past, or when you say culturally, we were trained to see the male as the head of family, you know, which is also parallel to what some of religious teachings talk about. But it seems as time goes by, some people abuse that, you know, knowledge, and they distort it to mean something else. But we all ought to respect and, you know, see each other as equal, irrespective of being male or female.
Thank you. I really like how you said that. Yeah, so it's irrespective of being male or female, but there is that care. That's that care of responsibility, knowing that that could be your mother, your sister, or your auntie. So knowing that you, or your grandmother, whoever it could be, and that you should never do that, because you wouldn't want that to happen to one of your family members like that. So, but you see, sometimes, and again, it's the male energy, and the testosterone tends to go from 0 to 60 a little faster. And as it relates to his response to her, but he personally, as you said, you don't, it's something that you wouldn't do. You wouldn't put your hands on a woman like that, or vice versa. Women shouldn't put their hands on a man. So I'm not taking sides, as you said before, but we should take care and due diligence when we're interacting. So take a moment to just breathe. Okay, I need to not pay any attention to her, because going from 0 to 60 can cause a lot of problems for me. I can end up in jail, I could be arrested, all kinds of things. It could just get really out of hand. And so she said what she said. I mean, she hit the car, first of all. We don't know. Again, we're just hearing the story, and we're just speaking based on a story, not on facts. But what we heard, we thought it was a teaching moment, because that's what ASLP Ghana is about, is teaching and educating and sharing how to interact with self, interact with others. And that's what most of our programs that we do are based around. And so we are educators as it relates to anything, and as a lesson. So this is why I thought that we'd have Sam come on and speak to you and share the best way to come in and just in Africa and Ghana as a whole. And I don't like to talk about Africa per se, but me, because I've gone to different parts of Africa, I know how it is for the countries that I've been to. And so it's just being mindful. What else would you say, Sam, as it relates to what happened?
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, the lady have a right to speak up her mind after what happened to her. She's a human being. The car, you know, touched her. And normally, even in Ghana, you see that some of the drivers mate, or some people do. They do hit the car because some of the drivers are not patient on the road, especially the trotro and the taxi. Or even some private, you know, drivers too. Some people are not disciplined on the road. So when you are out there, you should also be careful, because it takes two to, you know, and I wasn't there, like you said, so I don't know the tone at which this lady speak up. But like you mentioned with your experience, you said it to the driver, and then he, you know, he complied and he understood. So sometimes it depends on the vibration. And I'll tell you my experience too in recent time, traveling from Accra to Somalia. There was this driver who is over speeding. And there's one lady who cautioned him. And this man did not take the caution well, because he said the way the woman said it. So it becomes a long argument in a bus, something that should be simple. So in this case, you see that this man, the woman have to speak, but the driver is not taking it. And like you said, maybe sometimes he's taking it because it's a woman who is speaking. Because probably if one of the men, because there's two men in front of the car and they are not speaking. You understand? But they are not speaking for maybe a reason. But that doesn't mean that the lady who felt that the car is, and maybe it's not only the lady, but as the lady voice out, a lot of people also said, yes, you are going too fast. And these drivers still don't want to take it. So it's an individual thing. This driver, we are all coming from, different, we say we are Ghanaians, but different home, different background, different training. And, both men and female have different, characteristics and temperaments. So we all have different temperament. Everyone have a way of dealing with situations. But let's speak facts. If you are in Ghana as a diasporan and you find yourself in such a situation, I think the best way is to speak. But you speak in a way that, you may even get an apology from the person, because sometimes people don't even know what they are doing.
Exactly.
So people are driving, but their mind is somewhere, or they are speaking on the phone or something. So fine, speak up. Whatever happens next, I can't predict, but always speak up, but speak in a way that you don't, cause more, harm to the situation. But I don't condone with what the man did. What he did doesn't represent a Ghanaian character, because this is going a long way, because Ghanaians, we are fond of being proud, of being peaceful. We are speaking it out there. We are writing it out there. Our president, our government has asked our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. It's not only people in America, but sometimes on the street myself, as a Ghanaian, I find that some Ghanaians have problem with like Nigerians or other West Africans. Something which shouldn't be going, because there are bad notes and there are good notes too. I'm not saying that all diasporans who come to Ghana are, because everyone have their temperament and the way they respond to situations. And we should also be mindful that we are coming from a different background. So once we step out from our homes, we should know that we are interacting with all kinds of people. In these times, there's all kinds of people out there. So we should always be careful out there and always use the power of tolerance, which means that I'm not saying you shouldn't speak, but you should know that this driver, what's happening with, don't you see me? Or whatever she said, I'm not here to debate or judge on that. But the gentleman should have checked himself, because the woman will not speak if nothing happens to her. So one thing that I would like all of us to also do is to always continue to check ourselves. We shouldn't think that we are always right, and when we are out there on the street, we should know that we are interacting with different kind of people, irrespective of being a diasporan or same Ghanaian. This can happen to a Ghanaian, and it happens most of the time. I'm not taking it to the concept of like a diasporan, but I'm taking it like it can happen to anyone. Ghanaian and Nigerian, Ghanaian and Ghanaian, Ghanaian and American, Ghanaian and somebody from UK or whatever. So we should know that we are all brothers and sisters. And whatever happens, it depends on our reaction. There is definitely of an action or something happening to us that we have no control about. But how we react also, determine the end result. So I'll use this opportunity to ask my Ghanaian brothers and sisters to, what word should I use? To have mercy, or to take into consideration that we have disconnected with our brothers and sisters for far too long. And our government and ourselves, we are calling them to come back home, to relocate or to resettle with us. And I know personally, a lot of them are willing to come. But when they hear stories like this, it distracts them. So we must act our actions to show that we are really ready to receive them. And I can testify that majority of Ghanaians have this awareness and are ready to connect with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And I'll also mention that we shouldn't let these, little obstacles or these let us down, because some of these things are bound to happen. I'm not saying it should happen, but when it happens, it shouldn't, discourage our main mission of returning home.
There were so many gems there. I don't even know where to. I was going to pick out some of them. They were amazing. I'm telling you, just made it just so simple and so clear. The information that you shared was very, very, very good. And it doesn't matter about all those factors. Like you said, the bottom line is we've got to look at ourselves and how we react in every given situation. Because all I see is that, except the video that I shared on our page, he gave a perspective of trying to, similar to what you were saying, he's a diasporan's been living in Tanzania for some years now, a couple of years. And so basically to be the best that you can, to act in a rational, in a calm, in a peaceful way, not to sometimes, of course, we human nature, right, Sam? It's like human nature to react to somebody doing what is somebody saying or doing something to us, but we always have to check ourselves. We can't blame the other person, because again, it escalated from 0 to 60 based on her actions. But what you said was a very beautiful, and I'm sure many people will get a lot from that, because there's no sides in this. And again, it's a story, and there's always one story, two stories, and then there's a truth that you'll never know, because you're not going to get the truth from either one of them. The truth is there, but you'll never know unless I saw with my own two eyes, and even that it's still not the truth. Because it's going to be my version, right? It's going to be my version of what I saw, so that's still not going to be the truth. So the best way, that's why I thought to try to mitigate all of this round and circle, because someone was saying, they're saying about women need to be this and they need to be submissive and this and that and all this. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. As you said, very eloquently said, we should be treated as equal. It doesn't matter man or female. We need to look at each other as we are. It's not that because you're a man, you're over me, or I'm a female, I'm over you. No, we need to see each other as equal in a partnership. And in whatever relationship it is, it needs to be equal. Nobody should have dominion over the other. That should not happen.
It's true. And this mindset of what the man said is always right. I think we should rise above that and be neutral, and to see things in the bigger picture. Either it's a male who is saying it or the female. That gender thing, I think in this time, it does not work. Because I'm a man, I'm the head of the... And we should know that people from the diaspora are not trained like that. The women have been so... Our brothers and sisters, especially the women, they are now like... they take charge, they take control of things now, because most of the males end up in, excuse me to say, in prisons, or, so the women have grown to be self-sustained, so they speak for themselves. They've been suppressed for far too long. So this time around, they don't want to keep quiet for anyone to run over them, especially our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. They speak their mind, so we should be aware of that. And when they are speaking their mind, we shouldn't take offense from that. Because, sometimes when you are trying to translate the English, we have learned the English. They have learned, but it's like they are born in it. We were taught in school. So sometimes the translation, it could mean something to
yes, exactly. Yes,
so
exactly.
This is where we have to have patience to understand before we react, because sometimes you take offense. Maybe the brother took offense from the truth the sister is speaking, but maybe the energy or the tonation, I wasn't
energy. Yes, the energy behind it, Sam.
Yeah. So always we should be mindful, because sometimes your case could be right, but if you don't react to it properly, it will escalate to something else.
Exactly.
And you rather will find yourself in more sorrow or more pain. So this is a simple big that we all have to learn from. So that in case whatever we are and we are confronted with similar situations like this, we should, pause and, remember God first before we reply.
Yeah. Remember, and what would God do in a situation like this?
Yeah.
And I do want to talk about the energy. I had a situation like that just very recently, a couple of days ago, and we went to go buy some tickets to go and see a temple. And basically, we were given the wrong tickets. There was miscommunication, language, all of what you just said. And basically, he went from 0 to 60. And I said, just relax. Just relax. Just hear what's, and I'm trying to tell him, and he wasn't hearing me. He was just getting very, very irate, getting very angry. And I could see that's not going to work because the person behind the booth, he also was high testosterone energy. And it was just the two together was just not going to work. And so anyway, this man came up to the booth and he says, what do you need? And he said, listen, I'll take care of this for you. So he was a guide. And he said, no worries. He says, I'll take the 2 tickets and then I'll give you the money so you can get the tickets for where you want to go. So it was so good for him to see, the person that I was with, it was good for him to see that he didn't need to do all that. I said, you see, just let things roll its way. It fixes itself. If we let it fix itself, it will. And it did. It was so lovely. And he said, he said to me, looked to me, he said, you know what? The spirit. I said, I know what you mean. And he meant the energy was not right. With the two of them was not right. It was so lovely that he felt comfortable enough to come and tell me about spirit, because I understood. Somebody else might say, what are you talking about? But I knew exactly what he meant. And it settled so beautifully. So sometimes we just need to let things just fix itself.
True. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And there was a story from a sister who visited Ghana, I think 2 years ago, and they were being taken on a tour to Kumasi Kejitia market. And she said, while others were cheering them, they reached to another stage. They realized that one lady was saying something. They don't understand what she was saying, but because her face was not looking cheerful, they perceive that she's insulting them in a way. So she said they asked the tour guide in a way, and the tour guide don't want to say it that way, but it's like they pick the vibration. And it's like, so that doesn't mean that all Ghanaians are like that. Maybe that particular woman is having a bad day, and it might be like they are just passing, not buying. I think that was what she said. Yeah, you are just passing, not buying. And sometimes they just stand to take pictures or something, and the woman complains. I'm saying that the woman shouldn't do that, because we should understand that they are, tourists, and it's not every time that they'll buy something from you. So we should be able to, tolerate everyone in a way that we share good vibration. Because maybe the woman never knows. Maybe they could have bought something from her, but because she frowned her face and she passed that comment. So, it depends on our interaction. So I'm just saying this, things can happen to people, but how you respond.
Exactly.
In your face, like, oh, brother, why don't you see me? You want to knock me with your car? In a way, but it's like I mentioned, we all have different temperaments.
Yeah.
But there's always a way to overcome all these obstacles. That whenever we step out from our house, stepping on the street, we should know that anything can happen. But with a positive mindset and love for each other, we'll be able to share respect for everyone. And when we have that respect for everyone, we will have mercy when people does us wrong. And when people respond also by our wrongdoing, we should check ourselves before even we continue again. Because when people don't feel like something happened to them, they will not react. When people react to us in a certain way, so we should check ourselves, why is this person reacting this way? Maybe I've offended him or her. So instead of you taking offense, coming out to beat that woman because she spoke her mind, you know, so you see, it's you create a negative, you know, due to our actions, you create a negative scenario that will not go to harm you alone, but can go to even hurt Ghanaians in a way, because this one person speaking out against this thing, if the person is not strong enough, he or she may carry this out there. And we are on social media, we know we are in groups, you know, because Ghana has become like a beacon now. All our brothers and sisters are coming here. But some of other people also are calling them out. So when they keep hearing all this negative news, you know, the people, even though everyone have a choice where to go, because not everyone is going to respond to this call of returning. And not everyone will also come to Ghana. We are aware of that. But those who come, let us treat them as our brothers and sisters. And those who are planning to come also, to also bear in mind that, you know, there's some culture differences. I'm not in supportive of that, but it's there. So, you know, we should be mindful how we speak to each other and how we respond.
Very good. This was excellent. Thank you. And I'm thinking maybe we want to do something like this on every Friday, just come online live and just share different things, different topics and stuff as it relates to what we're doing and how we can support your journey into Ghana. And what's nice is because which I don't really see too often, a Ghanaian and a diasporan coming together to have dialogue about experiences and how to deal with it. So I think we should do that. I think we should come in, make Friday, like every Friday we come in and we set up a live, and we'll come on and see if anybody has any questions. And please, if you have any comments and questions after this live broadcast, please, and tell us about any topics you'd like us to speak about, because we're quite knowledgeable. We have a lot of information as it relates to things that need to be done, how to come into Ghana, different things, what paperwork and all these kinds of things. So I think this is good. This went really well. So do you have anything else to tell our viewers and our subscribers, our followers, not subscribers, our followers?
Yeah. Thank you all for continuing to stay with us. And we are going to serve you. Don't forget to, you know, come on your retreat trips, you know, plan it with us. And with us, you are going to be safe and have fond memories that will live with you forever. And don't forget to patronize our, you know, recommended product too, because it goes a long way to help local artisans and it's to sustain employment too, which have ripple effects in the communities and the villages that we work. And also our social interventions programs. Don't forget to, you know, continue to support us so that, you know, we inspire children and, you know, everyone, orphans, widows, and our brothers and sisters who have been deprived. We are looking for many ways to impact communities. So when you come to Ghana, we want you to join us on those local impact activities, workshops, and then we give you also a good customized trips, tours, and you can join our retreats too. So you are always welcome.
Thank you. You truly are an asset to Ghana, Sam. You really are I've seen your tenacity, your hard work, your follow through. And we'll be actually sharing about, I think that's something we could talk about, our recent let's not give it away. Or something recently happened. So thank you for joining me and answering. It was very, very useful information. I will share this on other platforms. And so I look forward. I think we should do this on a regular. We'll do this every Friday. And would like to have the other members come as well and have a share with them. But so thank you. And so to our wonderful followers, and you've been really very supportive. I've seen it, how you've liked our products that we put out there on Facebook, meaning our content and stuff on Facebook. So continue to follow us because we've got more great things to come. All right, so take care. Thank you again, Sam.
Thank you too for having me.
Okay, see you all soon.
See you too.
So thank you for joining us here at Sicily Soul Sojourn. I'm hoping that you got lots of great nuggets or gems or jewels as it relates to what Sam had to say. I certainly love the way that he unpacked the whole situation. He was very non-judgmental and just very impartial, which is how we really need to see things as opposed to taking sides, because it just escalates it even more. So until next time, thank you for joining Sicily Soul Sojourn. Be well, and please don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe. And I just want to say we've been getting really excellent support. The views are quite high now. I think it's like 14,000 or something like that. Very good. And the country is very diversified. I mean, some of the countries, I'm like, Uzbekistan, really? It's really bad. But number one is the United States. So thank you for your support in the United States. And number two is India. So it's interesting. And I'm getting quite a young demographics, 25 to 35. So we're going to keep going. And again, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you soon. Be well.